Welcome back, students. During our previous classes, we were studying about applications of Gauss's law, and these were some of the most interesting applications which we have studied. Uh, we have used Gauss's law to calculate the electric flux inside a closed surface, and then we have considered a spherical surface, and we have seen that we have calculated the electric flux inside our electric intensity. First, we have calculated electric flux, then we have calculated electric intensity inside that type of a spherical surface. Now, gradually, we are proceeding ahead, and now our main topic is that let's see where, if we consider any type of a sphere, and that type of a sphere is having this type of the shape, and at the upper surface of that spherical surface we are going to calculate the electric flux and electric intensity. So let's start our topic, that is when when a point charge P lies outside the spherical surface. Consider a point Q P situated outside at a distance r. So this is the point P, and it is situated outside a sphere r. So in order to apply Gauss's law, we take a Gaussian surface through the point P as in figure. In this case, the charge is shown in figure. In this, we will proceed for the next step, but first, let's understand the area is. This one is basically a point P, and electric lines of forces are passing through that area. And this area again, that is basically parallel along the electric lines of forces. This one. This one is parallel to the electric lines of forces. So, using the same conditions which we have discussed during our previous classes, so this will be our step first. This was a formula which was used to calculate Gauss's law, electric flux by using Gauss's law, and using this definition, this was the formula. So, and at the same time, that electric flux is basically calculated by using this. Electric flux is equal to E dot del A, the number of electric lines of forces passing through a unit area, through certain area. Comparing 1 and 2, the same steps we have done during the time when we were calculating electric flux uh, inside a spherical surface. And then we have used the basic assumptions made, and we have applied the condition when the charge is placed inside. Now the main difference is that in this case, the surface is outside, upper surface, outside of the spherical surface. So when you apply this, you compare these two equations, you are getting E dot LA, that is equal to Q over epsilon naught. So after simplifying, you see that the area, total area, this is the total area of a spherical surface. If you put the value of total area of spherical surface, it is basically area of a sphere, and area of sphere is calculated by using a formula that is 4 pi r square. And when you put the value of 4 pi square in this equation, this one you will be getting E is E multiplied by 4 pi area of a sphere, that is Q divided by epsilon naught. If you calculate E, electric field intensity through the sphere, that is Q, the total charges enclosed uh, residing over the surface of a sphere divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. This represents the electric field intensity due to charge conducting sphere spherical shell when point P laying outside the shell. So again, this point P is laying outside the shell, and we are going to calculate electric field intensity and electric flux through this point. So this is our main topic. First, if you move back, this point was inside that spherical surface, and at the end we have concluded that if there are no charges, there will be no electric field intensity. And this was our previous class result. So there is no intensity is zero inside. Now the situation will be different. We will be getting different answer because charges are there at point P in this case. during today's class. So 5 represents electric field intensity due to charge conducting a sphere shell when P is lying outside the shell. So here it is. So if you look at, then you have calculated electric intensity and final electricity. This is the formula to calculate electric intensity. So this was the main task. These are the total number of charges enclosed over the surface which are residing over the surface, and then we have by putting the value of the distance of the charge from the center of the circle, and by using the constant 9 multiplied 10 to the power 9 the value of k, then you will be able to calculate electric intensity outside the charge sphere. What you have done, let's see it again. That is, our task was when point P lies outside the spherical surface, then this is basically considered as a point P situated outside a sphere, the radius distance r from the center of the shell. This one is basically r. It is equal to r starting from this point and ending up to this point. So this is basically r. So we take a Gaussian surface through point P. The same conditions we have applied as we have used to calculate the electric flux in case of a uh, closed surface. Same applications are here, but we are applying the condition which we were supposed to consider during this case. And you have seen that you have calculated electric intensity by using Gauss's law, and after application of the Gauss's law, you have calculated electric intensity, that is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. From where it came, you have used the formula to calculate area of a spherical surface. You have used the formula to calculate Gauss's law because it's a closed surface, and whenever it's a closed surface, you use this formula to calculate. You use Gauss's law to calculate electric flux through a closed Gaussian surface. So after putting values, you are getting electric field intensity at the surface of the sphere, and this one is basically electric field intensity at a surface whose radius of that spherical surface is basically r. Now another application we will start with this one, and its application is the electric intensity due to infinite plane sheet. We will see this is third applications of Gauss's law, and if you look at this figure, here it's a infinite plane sheet, charge sheet. These charges are positive charges, and you know the electric lines of forces in case of positive charges move outside. We consider like a cylindrical surface portion of this surface, like this one, cylindrical, to the right side of the sheet and to the left side of this sheet. So this one is right side, this one is say right side, and this one is say left side. So we have considered portion of this surface as a cylindrical surface, one to the right and other to the left side. This is basically, if you see, this is a plane sheet charge, this one. If you look to the other side, this is a Gaussian surface of cylindrical surface which you have assumed, which you have considered. And if you look at to the one spherical side, cylindrical side face, electric, this is basically surface of that cylindrical surface, and point P is lying outside that surface, and electric lines of forces, electric intensity is moving to the right side. At the same time, area of that surface at this place is also along the same direction, which is the electric lines. And if you look at the upper side, here, this is the portion where the electric lines of forces and area is this one, and electric lines of forces are moving in this direction, so they are making an angle of 90-degree here. If you look at this one, it is also making an angle between E and A is 90-degree. So that's why the electric flux on these surfaces, curved surfaces, this one and this one will be zero, and we will see by using mathematical formula. And at the end, we will see there are only two surfaces, which this one and the other one is this one. These are the only two surfaces where there will be electric flux due to the angle between E and A, which is both are along the same, means they have 0 degree. So let's start our topic, that is, if you look at electric intensity due to infinite plane sheet, consider an infinite plane sheet of area A uh, electric charge density sigma. Basically, there is a term used here which is called surface charge density, and surface charge density is defined in case of charges by using this formula, and this shows that sigma is equal to number of charges per unit area. How many numbers of charges are per unit area? That is basically called on a surface. That is called surface charge density. So this one is calculated by you. If you know the number of charges on a certain area, then you can calculate the surface charge density by using this formula. And we will use this surface charge density in some of the cases to do some calculation. If the surface charge density is given, area of that charge density is also given, then you can calculate how many charges are residing there. So these are some of the simplest types of the tools which are used to calculate surface charge density, to calculate number of charges, and by using these two relations you can also find out how much area is required to reside such numbers of charges. So let's be the point at a distance r from the sheet, E be the electric field intensity at that point. Say this is the point P outside the charge surface, and E is the electric field intensity at that surface due to positive charge sheet of charges. Consider a Gaussian surface in the form of a slender cross-sectional area del A perpendicular to the sheet of the charge. This cross-sectional area is basically perpendicular to the sheet of charge. But if you consider the only this one portion of the spherical surface, this one, the electric intensity at that cylindrical surface which you have considered from the infinite type of the sheet, here electric field intensity and area, this one area, both are along the same direction. So if you look at to the cylindrical or to the spherical surface, the curve one, here the area is this one, it is moving in upward direction, the direction of area is this one, but the electric lines of forces are moving along this direction. It means that they are having 90-degree angle to the right side and to the left side as well. So if you look at, you are calculating electric flux through the curve surface of area. So you will see E dot del A, that is basically equal to EA cos 90, and cos 90 is 0. This shows that their electric flux through the curved surface due to angle that is 90-degree. Here along this one, if you look at this one, and along this one, this surface, this one, they are basically 0 and to the curved surface. But if you look at to the other side, that is E, and this one is area along this cylindrical surface, you see that they are having along the same direction. So that's why here this will be the point there is electric flux, and similarly to the other side there will be electric flux. So this is the most backbone of this topic. You have to understand what are the two faces. There are only two faces which are having E and A angle, that is maximum electric flux through that surface. It is to the right side of this cylindrical surface and to the left side of this spherical surface. One is along this one and other one is along my left side, this one. So these are the two cylindrical surface area which I have already highlighted, like this one. You can conclude that there will be only two sides where there will be electric flux. So you have applied the condition, that is hence the flux through the curved surface is 0. This one curved surface is 0 due to the value of angle between E, this one E, and A, this one 90-degree. So again, if you see to the right side, here it is 90-degree. Here electric flux will be 0 to the right side, and here it will be 0. The only surfaces are which are moving outward direction. If you see the surface E and A, this surface, that is 0, here it will be this one, E dot A, right side, and this one is right side electric flux. And if you look at to the other side, this one is left one. The left one both have 0 degree, so that's why it will be twice of EA, that is 2 times of EA, because the surface is having same area. So that's you have added these two, that is 2A cos 0, and 2A cos 0 is basically 1. And if you put the values, so this one is the formula, and you are getting electric flux through both the surfaces which you have considered from infinite charge sheet. to the right side of that, and to the left side, that is 2EA. Now, at this stage, you are going to apply Gauss's law to calculate electric intensity by using infinite charge sheet. So that is phi E is equal to 1 over 4, epsilon naught times Q. This is the statement of the basic mathematics of Gauss's law. If you compare these two equations, that is 1 over, this one is basically Gauss's law, and this one is you have calculated, this one you have calculated by using the condition of the charge sheet from where you have calculated the electric flux. Because electric flux through different surfaces will change with the depending on their size and conditions. So here the electric flux by using infinite charge sheet and the area which you have considered, that is 2EA. If you compare these two, you have compared these two, and after comparing your this area is cancelled with this area, so you are getting 1 over epsilon naught charge density, that is equal to 2A. If you look at, this is the definition of charge density, and you have calculated charges by using, you are given density of that charge surface, you are giving the area of that surface, then you can calculate number of charges. You have put the value of this number of charges by using the definition of charge surface charge density and area. So after putting, you are getting a formula, and which is equal to E is equal to 1 over 2 epsilon naught sigma charge density, that is a unit vector which shows the direction of that area, in which direction you are calculating the electric field intensity. Either you are considering the whole surface, or you have considered a portion of that surface to make it easier to understand. So this is the formula to calculate electric intensity. Uh, so you have used this electric field intensity with vector notation, and this will show the direction, where n is the unit vector normal to the sheet and towards it and directed away from it. If you look at the back side, this one is basically charge sheet, and this is directed away from that surface charge density. So this is vector shows the direction. So here it is. This is another procedure, alternate procedure to calculate this one. That is the same topic which we have already discussed. That is electric field intensity is parallel to the curved surface. That is angle is equal to 90 degree. We have already seen this. This one is a type of curved surface. And if you look at electric intensity is along this direction, and area is along this direction. So both are making an angle of 90 degrees. So that's this is the condition which is applied. This one is a curved surface. So electric field intensity is perpendicular to the curved flat area. And then number one, flux through the curved surface, we have already calculated. Curved surface, this one is curved surface. Electric lines of forces, electric E is along this direction, and A is along this direction. They have 90 degree in case of curved surface. So by using 90 degree, the electric flux through that curved surface it will be zero. Now the through flux through the right hand face, you know that the E is along the same direction. So this one was a spherical area. This one is E of that surface, which you have considered a surface of a cylinder, which you have considered from the same sheet. That is, both E and A are along the same direction. So that's why their angle will be zero. And when angle is zero, that is EA equal to EA. And now another is to the left side of that face, you are using another technique, the short one, to calculate the electric flux through the whole surface. That is phi EA, that is EA cos theta. This one is, if this one is right side, consider this and apply the same condition to the left side. Again, you will be getting EA. Then the total electric flux through both the faces of the both the sides will be 2EA. So with this, our topic ends, and hope you people have understood what were the main points to consider. There was infinite charge sheet, and you were asked to calculate electric flux through that surface. You have considered a portion of that field, a cylindrical shape of that charge sheet. to the right side and to the left side. Then you have applied Gauss's law to calculate the electric field intensity through upper of that cylindrical surface and to the right and the left side which you have considered. So after applying, you have seen depending on the value of angle, if you consider the curved surface, the angle between E and A was 90 degree. So there was no electric flux through that surface. So when you have considered uh, right and left ends of that spherical surface area and electric field intensity both for making an angle of uh, 0 degree. So these were the two sides, right and left, where you have calculated electric flux. And then by using surface charge density, you have calculated this was a surface charge density. So if it is a electric field intensity, this one E, and you have calculated the total flux through both the surfaces, then you will apply the Gauss's law, and Gauss's law statement is this one. This one is the total charges passing through that closed surface, and by using surface charge density, you have calculated sigma A. This is equal to basically surface charge density, and then you have placed the value of in like Gauss's law. You are getting sigma A divided by epsilon naught. Already you people have calculated by using the shape of the area considered from the whole infinite charge sheet. You have calculated electric flux, and that is 2EA. Put the value of 2EA here and use the same relation which you have already calculated to calculate the charges, how much charges, how many charges are moving, and what is the value of electric flux through that surface, how much charges are moving, how, from how much area, and then what was the total electric flux you have calculated. By putting the values, you are getting E is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. R is a unit vector which shows the direction of that electric lines of forces through which area the electric field intensity is, which you have calculated. So with this, our topic of today class ends. So during next class, we will can calculate electric field intensity between two oppositely charged plates, parallel plates. This will be our topic from the next class. So come back again. If you come back, this was the technique, this was the formula used to calculate electric field intensity, infinite charge sheets. What were the two main steps which you have considered? That was to consider a surface, Gaussian surface, a closed surface, because you can't apply Gauss's law on a flat surface, infinite sheet. So you have to consider a Gaussian surface. For that, you have considered closed surfaces to the both sides of this charge sheet. You have applied the basic conditions of Gauss's law. Then after applying, you people have calculated the electric field intensity for infinite charge sheet. With this, our class ends. I thank you very much for your patience. So you people have understood.